Shalom, my name is Tatra Cohen, and this week we are on the portion Vayigash. He approached, coming from the book of Genesis from 44 to 47, a very interesting Torah portion. I should also mention that it carries this dramatic kind of nature, you would say. Had it been a movie, you would actually be sitting at the edge of your seats trying to figure out what should happen next. Is Joseph going to forgive Benjamin for the crimes which Benjamin is so far accused of? What will the brothers think? Because for them to go with Benjamin, it was already a struggle with their father. They already knew if they do not return with their younger brother, Benjamin, the father was certainly going to die. Well, in as much as it is so much entertaining, it also carries a lot of lessons. And today I would like to just bring forth one of the lessons which we may find from the many which we can draw from this Torah portion by Vayigash. Now, as the story goes on, we see that it actually put an emphasis on Judah, who happened to be the one approaching this, fearsome, this terrifying man who by this time they are not yet aware that is actually their brother Joseph. But this man is the viceroy of Egypt, the feared man, the man who has power of death and life just on his lips. Well, the story goes on and we see that Judah becomes the one who takes upon himself, who lays his life down to go ahead and approach this man, this fearsome man, and with request. Not only did he start with request, he also refers to the man. This is what you said previously, and we took your word seriously. We went to our old man, and this is how serious the issue is so far. The story goes on and the narration is very much on point. Now, one thing that Judah actually did is what I want to mention today. He laid his life down for his brother's sake, not only for the rest of his brothers, but for his young brother who happened to be Benjamin, to say it is better I remain and be imprisoned in his case than for him to fail to return back to the father. And this is a lesson for you and me today. Are you willing to be like Judah, who would lay his life down for the sake of the unification of the brethren or the brothers of the house of Israel? Today, the house of Israel, there are so many divisions because of traditions and things and tolerance and so forth. Certain application of the Torah, certain lenience of the traditions. There are so many things that seek to divide the house of Israel. But what the house of Israel need today are people like you and me who would take upon themselves the way Judah did, to lay all those differences aside, to actually lay your life down for the sake of the unification of the house of Israel. And guess what? That's what Judah did. By the way, remember Judah was also the one who was responsible in this case. And why would I say so? Remember that time when Joseph was about to be killed and the brothers negotiated and they reasoned among themselves. And Judah was the one who suggested that, instead of his blood coming on our hands, why don't we sell him to the Ishmaelites? And therefore, they all agreed. And Joseph was sold into Egypt. I also like how Joseph actually acted in this very particular lesson, which I'm talking about today. Joseph gave Judah, or the rest of the brothers, you may say, an opportunity to redeem themselves. At first, they did wrong. They sold their brother. But he didn't take any hard feelings about that. He said, it was not even your fault. It was God himself who sent me ahead of you so that I can be used to preserve life. Well, this was a very big lesson we learned from Joseph. Sometimes we go through a lot of misfortunes and betrayal and all these kind of things. and we like to, accuse each other. But in the case of Joseph, he saw that it was the hand of God which sent him to go through all these pain and sorrows and trials so that he can be a vessel worthy in order to preserve the lives of the Jewish people. What is my message to you? My message is very simple. Are you going to be like Judah, who says, you know what, all the differences aside, I want to lay my life down for my brother? And this was the least of the brothers, actually, Benjamin. And that moved God. That moved Joseph. That moved everyone. No wonder these stories and these testimonies are written for you and me. Thank you and Shabbat Shalom. I pray you will be willing to lay your life down for the sake of the good of the Jewish people, for the sake of the good of your community, for the sake of the good of your people. When you do so, you hasten the Geula, you make the redemption process as quicker, as soon as possible. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom all.